I've decided I'm going to be bringing back an old series, a concept of a series that I did many years ago that was deleted. And it was where I talked about mental health. Now, there needs to be a few disclaimers here. I am not a professional, I am not trained, I'm not a psychiatrist, I am not a doctor. These are going to be videos on my take on mental health, possibly my experience, and I guess part of this will be ranting, and I guess part of this will be me hopefully talking about this stuff, and maybe it will help you guys. I don't know though. I'm hoping it will. Um, and I'm hoping that through this series, I'm going to be able to go to a place where I can maybe work through some stuff. And yeah, hopefully, this will be a good, safe place. Again, a series not intended to trigger, but trigger warnings ahead. Okay, guys, it's been a hot minute since I've recorded anything for the channel, and I've had time with questions going around my head, especially the closer and closer that I get to the funeral. And something that's really bugged me is, you know, are you okay? I'm being asked that a lot at the moment. And there's been a few instances where I've gone, yep, I'm fine. And then there's been a few instances where I've gone, you know what, no. And I've started going into what is actually going on. And a big part of this, I think, is, and I've done it, I think everyone's done it, right? That we will almost do it out of a courtesy, right? Rather than a maybe understanding that are you okay is a question. And that if we don't necessarily have the time or maybe headspace to then have an answer from the person that we're asking, and for it to be no. And then on the flip side of that, of, I'm fine. And then do we leave it there or do we follow it up? I think a lot of the time, are you okay, or phrases like are you okay or I'm fine has become too kind of built into society and too built into too built in to, well, I'm going to ask this, but I'm not going to give the time, space for the answer to be no, or for the answer to be I'm fine, and to pick up on something that tells me or tells us that they're not fine, and then follow that up. Now, yes, there are times when people will say these phrases and, it's fine. And it's kind of, it is truthful and it is what's going on under the skin. But, too many, or for example, someone will be like, oh, you alright? Or what have you done today? and I'll give the answer, and it'll be, oh, well, you know what I meant. Well, no. I've just told you my answer. Why are you now almost... It's not backtracking, I guess. It's more them explaining. But I guess in a negative or bad headspace, that there is that under level, right? That there is that under the skin, right? And the weird thing for me, right, through doing these videos is I've noticed that I've naturally been leaning towards the fact that somebody with mental health going to somebody else, you know, being honest of being honest of, hey, I can deal with this, and then being able to then follow that up, or look, I can't deal with this right now. And I know throughout my traumas, rejection is a very hard point for me, right? And I just think that, and I'm not saying that somebody is a bad person, or even that it's their responsibility to then deal, you know, to deal with that person. But I do take the stance on the fact that for whatever reason, that conversation could have had such a positive impact, and it could have been very, I don't want to necessarily say life-changing, but I get it could have helped with the situation that they're dealing with. And I know personally that if I don't feel like somebody's actually like tuning in and listening to my words, I'll shut off, right? I'll just be like, all right, then I'm done, right? And that's something that I've got to get better at, I think. And that's something that I've got to learn skills to deal with. But like I've done it before, where I'm in a conversation with someone, they've said hi, I've said hi back, and it's just dead silence because I won't go, are you okay? Because I know in that moment that I'm not ready to deal with a no. I'm not ready to go into what's going on with that individual. Now, whether that makes me a bad person, I don't know. And a lot of people, you know, protect yourself, Neo, and all that. But I think that we followed a script, right? Hi, how are you? How's the weather? You know, stuff like that. And I think more and more of this has been going on in my head recently. Because my nan and granddad were very old-fashioned. They were of a different generation. And things like that, you know, if you ask someone, are you okay? You were almost expected to kind of go, yeah, I'm fine. And I'm wondering if that has kind of trickled down into the generations. I don't know if that kind of makes sense, but I am wondering if language has become so watered down, right? And I'm dyslexic, so I struggle with my wording and how am I going to get things across. So I get that side of it, but I do wonder if things like that are very kind of they're too in root, like they're too part of us, right? They're almost built into our DNA at this point. And there are people out there that will take the time. But then again, the flip side of it, well, if they're very rare, then those people are always the ones then willing to then actually answer, or sorry, actually listen to the question. So it's such a flip flop in my mind right now, and as I said, it's been going around my head quite a lot. And I do want to backtrack a second, because when I was talking about my nan and granddad's generation, they would listen to my answer, but the reason why I kind of brought that up was because I saw it. I saw when someone wasn't okay, but they'd be, I'm fine, because it almost seemed or felt like that was the appropriate response. And I think we need to get rid of that. And again, I understand if somebody asks you that question and you answer, and then their response is, well, right now I'm not in the right headspace to go into this. Maybe we'll catch up down the road. That, personally, I'd find that a lot better of a response than, oh, well, and then there's awkwardness. And then you just feel like you're in this place now where, well, now we're both feeling awkward. It's horrible, right? And as much as I did the video on listening, I do need to then do the flip side of that conversation, speaking. One thing that I am quite intrigued by these videos is how, when I listen to them back, maybe a year or 2 years down the line, that I'll be able to see and hear the difference within myself. And I'm very intrigued for that. And I understand that this has been more of a rant video. As the intro says, I'm not a professional. These are just things that have been floating around my head. And I'm very intrigued if, when I'm not in this negative headspace, if I'll do what I've quote unquote been preaching, right? So yeah, it's weird. It's a very catch-22, I think, with "Are you okay? I'm fine." And I get it. Some of us in our lives, and I mean like our circle, right, our close circle, have never fully interacted with somebody who has mental health struggles, or just struggles. Again, in our close circle. So I understand if it suddenly kind of goes left field and you're like, whoa, okay, I have no idea what I'm stepping into right now. But yeah, hopefully this video has made some sense. Maybe you guys will agree or disagree. I don't really know. But sorry guys, that was my letterbox. Yeah, I don't know, guys. It's just been things that have floated around my head, especially knowing that I'm going to be going into a situation like a funeral where stuff like that will be asked, and I'm probably going to have to bite my tongue a lot, or I'm just going to go no, and then wait for that awkwardness, or, whatever it is. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe this was just rambling. There will be a song in the comments, by the way, pinned, that I was listening to before this video. Thank you to yourself, someone who listens to this video, um, maybe they're making sense. I don't really know. Or maybe you guys are just kind of learning how nuts my head can get. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, thank you for listening. Are you okay?